Hello, my dears. You're very welcome to day 3 of the Spiritual Author Book Camp. I am absolutely thrilled that you got here. And as I was just saying off camera before we started, it's a commitment, and I completely get that it's a commitment. It's a 3-day commitment, even though we're only here for an hour and a half, 90 minutes every day. We're packing in a lot. There's lots for you to think about. There is some healing happening in the background, and we're sparking ideas. So it's a transformational experience that we're in. So although we're only together for that 90 minutes, it really is a 3-day retreat and transformational experience. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're getting value. And just want to say, if you haven't already, go back. If this is your first time here, go back and have a look at day 1 and day 2, because they all build on each other. And I'm worried that it might be overwhelming if you step into this without the foundation of the other 2. So I would strongly suggest that if this is your first time here, press pause, go back to day 1, listen to that, then do day 2, and then come back here to this. And if you're watching on YouTube, or I don't know if Facebook does it as well, but you can increase the speed so you can watch them in faster time. So although I speak pretty quickly anyway, but you can watch it in faster time and get through this content a lot quicker if you want to. So we are gonna dig in, my darlings. So my promise again, at the end of this boot camp, for spiritual entrepreneurs and authors, you'll have your book idea and a roadmap to achieve it. So I hope that you're beginning to see how this is all coming together. So here we are. We've identified and cleared author blocks on day 1. Day 2, we crystallized your book idea. We had some fun with that yesterday. And day 3, we have your book roadmap and blueprint essentials. Next steps is join Ignite, if that's calling you, if you want to work with me and be one of the 11. That would be a fantastic idea. I'll share more about that now in a moment. Make sure you have a Google Doc open, or you have a notebook beside you. Be open to healing, be open to insights, downloads. Make some time afterwards to implement and take some action on some of the things that we speak about. This is it. Create an irresistible outline. Learn how to create a solid roadmap and blueprint for your book with all of the structure, chapters, everything. We're going to deep dive into that. Now I have a couple of things to say before that, so that are really, really important. So before we jump in, check in. How confident are you right now that you can write and publish a book? So we've been doing this check-in for the last 3 days. So I want you just to give me a number between 1 and 10. 1 being not confident at all, and 10 being absolutely confident. I just want to check in and see how everybody is today. 10, 10. Defo enjoying getting a kick up the... Good morning, everybody. 10, 10, 9, very good. So anything over 8 is brilliant. Anything over 7, hopefully by the end of this session, your number will have gone up and you'll have a little bit more confidence and belief that you can do it. I believe in all of you. I believe that. I mean, anybody that's, especially if you're here after 3 days and you've shown up consistently, just, you know, that alone is testament that you want your book out into the world and you're committed to that dream this year. So my opportunity, there's 11 authors that I am open to working with this year in my Empowered Author program called Ignite. And we kick off on the 12th of February, so in just a couple of weeks. And we have our first welcome and orientation call on the 14th of February. There's 11 places. Some of those places are already gone. There's about 3 or 4 places gone already. So that, I don't know, do the maths, at 7 places left. You can find out about that at aislingmooney.com/ignite. Write and publish your spiritual and transformational book in 6 months. So your book could be out this year. This is Jenny, who had already written 3 books, and I actually have her book. I don't know if you can see that, but this is her first book. She was in a coaching program with me. I wasn't an author coaching program or a book coaching program. I was just working with spiritual entrepreneurs at that stage. I think it was the Abundant Heart, and or it could have been the Metron program. But she I had this dream. I encouraged her throughout our coaching to get her book, and that was her first book. And she's since written 3 books, and it's a beautiful book. And she acknowledges me in the acknowledgement, which is just an absolute dream. It was just a thrill when she sent me this in the post and acknowledged my support in it. It was really a thrill. It was really beautiful. So she's written 3 books, but she decided to work with me and work in a group, work in our book collaboration group. And she said that it really supported her. It was great to be part of a supportive and like-minded group with a shared and common purpose. And so even though she had already written 3 books, this experience, this group work, this group coaching program really supported her. So, because writing can be a lonely journey. You're there on your own. You get too much time in your head. It can be helpful to have other people there to just support you. And this is Karen. Karen initially thought, this isn't for me. It's not the right time. I haven't got the money. The dream can wait another year, another year, another year. And eventually she decided to step in, and she will be a published author in April, but she's in the process of publishing her Oracle card deck. And I guess her first book, definitely the ideas are sparking, and it was such a joy to work with Karen. And so let us set our intention. Just take a moment, everybody. Just take a moment, take a breath. Take a moment, take a breath. And just calling in the angels into this space and asking them to be with us, to support every single one of you, everybody watching live or watching the replay, giving you whatever you need as a spiritual entrepreneur, as an author. I'm asking that you receive exactly what you need and only what you need for your healing journey, for your life purpose, for your sacred contract. You only receive exactly what you need today. And through the words that I say, through the conversation that we share, and through the healing, the vortex that we've created here within this community, that you receive exactly what you need. I hope that this will be a catalyst for you to get your book and your message, your healing message out into the world this year. So thy will be done, angels. Thank you so much for being here with us. Just feel that presence. So if you would set your intention, that's my intention. If you would just set your intention, just think about what that is, what you want to achieve by the end of this. Because as I said, there's no point in just coming here and listening. Not the point of this book camp, boot camp, workshop, masterclass. It's not the point of my work here on the planet. It's just to talk and you to listen. I want you to take action. So I would love you to just tune in and think about, what is your intention? Why are you here again? And you can write in the chat or you can write in your notes. But just really just take a moment to think about that. So before we dive in, this is a question this is the download I got last night when I had already done up these slides, and then this came in and I was like, okay, we're going to have to talk about this because it's really, really important. So what's the number one thing spiritual entrepreneurs and authors struggle with? Write it in the chat now, what you think it might be. And we're going to go deep into that for just a minute because it's really, really important. So this is the number one thing that I help and support clients with. It's the number one reason that I'm here on planet Earth. I really think all the work that I do, angels, spiritual entrepreneurs, but this is time and time again what people come up with. Procrastination, well, it's related to procrastination, definitely. Mine is being judged by others, that leads to procrastination. Very, very good. Chilla, that's close as well. And it encompasses all of that. So I'm going to tell you what it is. Visibility. Visibility is the one thing that we as light workers struggle with. And I see this in my clients over and over and over again. It can show up as I'm just not confident on camera. It can show up as I have not set up my email list and I'm not growing my email list. I'm just showing up on social media, even though I know that as a business owner, I need to get these things in place. It's all visibility. It's all a deeper issue. And I'm going to talk about what the issue is behind this issue of visibility. It can show up PayPal not working, or not willing to open a PayPal account, or, you know, I've seen some clients, one of my clients years ago, I remember in the Abundant Heart program, came along and she was like, I just cannot open it. I've been blocked every step of the way with PayPal opening an account. And I was like, it's nothing to do with PayPal. It's to do with your fear of being visible and being seen. And so we worked on that. I said, PayPal are beautiful people. Pick up the phone, ring somebody and ask them to release your account or help you to set up a new account. And she went through that process. But there was a deeper issue behind it. Not setting up as a proper business, not paying taxes. You know, there's fucking massive fear around the tax man, which goes back ancestrally. Like if you're Irish, in the famine days, literally the landlord, the tax man, was life and death, and that's not just in Ireland, in other parts of the world as well. So there is a huge fear around paying taxes and being seen and set up in business, and just being seen out there as a proper business owner. Not sharing your gifts with the world, not speaking up, not showing up regularly. And this is something that I'm putting my hand up, because as I was writing this, I was like, uh-oh, that's you, Aishling. Not showing up regularly for yourself and for your mission, for your business. So it's like, you know, not doing and your consistency can look different to mine. It could be a podcast, a weekly podcast. It could be a weekly podcast. It could be a weekly email. It could be doing a live stream, recording a video and posting it. I don't know what your visibility block might look like. It could be, one block could be putting up beautiful quotations and posts and pictures, but not putting a call to action at the end, a CTA. Call to action is buy my stuff. Call to action is, so for example, if I put up an angel message and said, here's this angel message. Okay, this one would be, it's safe to be wealthy. Archangel Zadkiel. It is safe. We're going to get to this. It is safe for light workers to be wealthy. We need wealthy light workers. We need more people with heart to have this power of money in their hands to make a difference in the world, to make a positive difference. So if you're not visible, I'm just going to have a look at that. Sorry. So let me just stay on track here. So let's say, for example, I put up a post about this and I wrote a little bit about it. And then at the end, I said, hey, do you want to join my angel circle? Or do you want to buy my oracle cards? Or do you want to, here's the link. So literally posting without that call to action. And it doesn't have to be every single post, but it really has to be 90%. If you're in business and you have stuff that you want to sell, you want to share, you have good stuff that you want to put out there into the world, and you know that there's people that need it in their hands, and you're not putting that CTA at the bottom of your posts, then that's a visibility issue as well. That's a fear of being visible. That's a fear of standing up and saying, this is what I'm really here for. The day that I wrote healer on one of my business cards was fucking terrifying. It was such a leap into the unknown and such a leap in visibility. And then every time I've changed my title to Angel Intuitive, Angel Channel, Oracle Card Reader, Spiritual Intuitive, Spiritual Business Mentor, Coach, Author, Book Coach. I mean, that's a fairly new one. It's only in the last 6 months that I'm calling myself this. So it's, you know, every time we change our and become more visible, it can bring up our stuff again and again for us to have a look at. Guilty of the no call to action. Yeah. Pre-order is the solution. Oh, that's another one. Brilliant. Chilla, that's a brilliant one. Not giving away your stuff before you get paid, or people book appointments and then they cancel. The way to stop people canceling is to get paid in advance. So if somebody wants to book a one-to-one session with me, they go to my calendar, they pick the day, they click order now, and they're bought straight to PayPal or Stripe, and they pay, and then they can then we can talk. But in the, I mean, years and years ago when I was starting, that wasn't the way I was. Uh, just any Tom, Dick, and Harry that would come, I was letting them into the house, or I was booking the appointments, but then they weren't turning up and whatever. So these are all visibility issues. So visibility equals money. You want more clients, you need to get visible. You want more money, you need to get visible. And I'm not talking about money. Money is not good or bad. It's just an energy. It's just an exchange that we use. It is money does good or bad depending on the hands that are holding the money. So money of itself is not good or bad. So what about just being disorganized, from being exhausted, just not understanding or knowing the steps to implement, and what does that equate to visibility? So some of that disorganized and being exhausted is comes down to undercharging and over delivering. So you're giving too much, and you're not charging your worth. Your even worth and value are funny words to use in this case. But if you're feeling exhausted or feeling drained, it's either you have the wrong clients or you're over delivering and undercharging. So you might need to raise your rates, and you might need to reduce the time. So there was a time that I used to be an hour and a half or 2 hours with a client for 45 euros. Now it's 500 quid to book a session with me, a 50-minute session, 50-minute session. So it's a massive difference. Or clients can book a package, but it's paid in advance. I never ever do a session, without payment upfront and beforehand. So, I hope that answered that question. Let us dig into the meat that I'm trying to get to today, which is about healing the witch wound. That's the core of the visibility issue. This is the core. This is why clients come to me and they say, I am terrified to do a live stream. I am terrified to go live on my Facebook profile where all my family and friends and boss and everybody can see me for who I really am, a spiritual entrepreneur, a healer, a light worker. And I'm smiling only because I've gone through that fear, and I've guided so many clients through that fear. And I know it's real, and I know it's valid. But at the end of the day, if you're a woman in the Western world, you're fairly safe. You're fairly safe in your boots, in your home. If I was a woman living in Afghanistan, if I was a woman living in a different place in the world, a different situation, a different hierarchy of women, I know as women we're still fighting for our place in the world and to have equal salary and all of that sort of stuff. But we are, me living in Europe as a light worker, I have it's not like literally if I get a trawl, if somebody doesn't like what I do, I can just fucking delete them. Just delete. It's not that big of a deal. But the big deal is that we are looking at hundreds of years of women, like literally a genocide of women who are called out for being witches, just for being healers and light workers and therapists and practitioners, and literally had to hide their life for a couple of 100 years. Like considering that Mary Magdalene for, was it 600 years, was called a prostitute in the Bible, instead of the healer and the equal to Jesus that she was. It was only in 2016, like not even 10 fucking years ago, that the Pope of the Catholic Church came out and said, hey, by the way, Mary Magdalene isn't a prostitute, she is the 13th apostle. Like, and I don't know, did they even say sorry? So it's like, And no wonder women are scared. You're a prostitute, you're a witch, you're, and there's this, I have these two images here of the good witch and the bad witch. And, just to get you thinking about this witch wound and what it might be doing to you. And the reason for this is that if we don't heal this, and this is one of the crucial elements that I'll be bringing to my author program in 2024, if we don't heal this witch wound, if we don't look at the trauma and unravel it and heal it and bring forgiveness where it's needed, you're just going to be an author that has a book that sits at home and nobody sees. If you want to get your message out, you're really serious about writing this book and getting it out there into the world, getting as many copies as possible out there into the hands of people that need them, then we need to do this healing work individually and collectively as women, as healers, as light workers, and those few good men as well that are in our communities. So it was important for me to mention this. It came in as a download last night, and I would love to hear your thoughts. If this is something, I know it's unusual to be talking about, I suppose it kind of equates to knowing your value. Yes, Bernadette. So I hope that it's bringing up stuff for you to think about, but it's really for us to become visible as authors. We need to look at this witch wound, and we need to bring whatever forgiveness, whatever love, whatever healing we can. A couple of books that I recommend for this. These are life-changing books. Mary Magdalene Revealed, Megan Waterson, and Witch by Lisa Lister. If you want to take a look at this wound on yourself and, allow yourself to become more visible. So heal the witch wound, become more visible, help more people. And when you're visible, your clients and readers can find you. So just something to consider for you as an author to take this as a real thing that we need to look at. And these would be my recommendations. These books have changed my life. They're absolutely amazing. If I have time, I'm going to read from one of them, a quick piece. These are my oracle cards, and I just picked two that I thought represented what I was trying to say here. On the stage and share your wisdom and let yourself be seen and make more money. We have Archangel Metatron and Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel is the messenger of God. And Metatron teaches us the kingdom, the idea that we are leaders, we are teachers and healers, and that we need to stand up and be seen on that stage. And ultimately, you're going to make more money. The more visibility that you can bring to your work, the more visible that you can get out there as an author, as a spiritual entrepreneur, the more money you're going to make. And honestly, the bigger the difference and the bigger the impact you're going to be able to make. Broke healer is gone. This is 2024 that you're watching this. I did a massive, a beautiful, very inspiring Archangel transmission for 2024. Go and find that if you haven't. It's on my Facebook group and page and on the website. And it is the broke healer is gone. When you're trying to fucking put money on the table, worrying about your family, meeting all their needs, worrying is your credit card going to work in the supermarket. I've been there, done that. Worrying about paying the mortgage, been there, done that. Worrying about debt and, worrying about bringing in clients and bringing in money and paying your taxes and all of this fucking stuff. It is taking you away from your work, from your true work as a light worker, as a healer, as a spiritual person on this planet right now that needs us to be visible, to be awake, to be alive, to be out there sharing our gifts with the world. So owning the stage, getting visible ultimately translates into you making more money and becoming more powerful as a light worker and being able to share your message on a grander scale. And I didn't think about this earlier, but I just want to say it now that this year as well is about community, coming together in groups. We don't have to do this alone. There's no hierarchy. It's about community. It's about supporting each other. I've left private messages for some of my clients this week and this month. And that's what led to this Archangel transmission. And I was like, look, we're walking arm in arm right through this year. We're walking on the backs of dragons. It's the year of the dragon. It's the year of magenta. It's the year of 8. Spiritual entrepreneurs, in particular women, are gonna literally soar and shine this year. And having your book out there can be part of your legacy, can help you to spread your healing gifts and your healing message in a bigger way, and just give you more credibility and expertise and confidence. The amount of confidence that just being an author has given me is more than the 15 courses that I've put together and put out there and all of the thousands of people that I've worked with. But the fact that I have achieved that dream of becoming an author has given me more confidence than any of that altogether, and more money, more money, and I can make that difference that I want in the world. I can pay the taxes without worrying. Was able to pay off 250 grand of debt. We're mortgage free, and can make a plan for the future and can provide for my family. And so anyway, I hope that this is inspiring you in some way before we dip into the practicalities of this workshop. Let me just check in. I'm thinking about the different emotions I'm having with what you're discussing. Yes, my darling. Yes. So there's it can bring up stuff. I said this is going to be healing. This is going to maybe touch your buttons a little bit, maybe push your buttons, hopefully all in good ways. Meeting the Melissa about the Ancient Priestess by Elizabeth Ashley Starnes. Okay, beautiful. The year of A. Today is the full moon. Oh, thank you. And Leo. Oh my God. It's inspiring. I've just had an aha about my next possible book. Oh my God. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, we're gonna continue. So I hope you got all that. I hope you got all that. And we're going to jump into the practicalities of this, yeah, brilliant conversation to have. Yeah. So your book blueprint. Is there anything anybody wants to say before we jump into this? Because I know we're really jumping from one. I'm just going to check the time, see where we are. 90 minutes goes by so quick. Yeah, so we're going to have to zoom ahead with these slides. But if you want to say something, just post it in the chat for me, and I'll have a look at those throughout. That's okay, don't worry, you're here. That's the main thing. So here we are, your book blueprint. Let's go. So yesterday, I asked for any of you that to write, yesterday we worked on your mind map of your book ideas, and I asked you to prioritize the ideas, and then to take one idea and to expand on that 300, 500 words. I would just love to see this. There's no competition. If you come into my coaching program, there'll be accountability, and I'll be like, okay, where's your work? But we're not going to do that here. Just as an experience, as some feedback, I would love to know how that experience went for you. And maybe you don't even have to put this in the chat, but just some things to think about. If you did it, brilliant. What resistance came up for you? What supported you what made you sit down and write? Was it the fact that you had accountability? Was it the fact that I asked you to do it and you were like, okay, I'm going to do this because Aishling asked and we might have to share it tomorrow? Or did you not do it because maybe you didn't hear it? Or maybe you were like, oh, shit, I'm not going to do that in case Aishling asked me to share it. And did it bring up fear? Or did you just resist and say, maybe it showed up as procrastination, maybe it showed up as boredom, maybe it showed up as tiredness or exhaustion, whatever. Just the idea behind this exercise was not for me to read what you've written, but more for you to analyze what motivated you to write it, or what motivated you to not write it, to ignore it. And I'm just interested in that, and I'm interested for you to have a look at that and to think about that. Resistance was strong. I had to reorganize my day to do it. Well done. Well done. Look at that. So it's literally like making the decision and reorganizing your day so that you could sit down and do that. Amazing. Amazing. Enthusiasm. I did it after the workshop yesterday. Brilliant. So it was the group vibe and the workshop that we did together that helped you to, okay, I'm riding on that energy. Yeah, and that's it. I love to do that right after when I have something, because I often, the longer I leave it, the less the energy disappears. I often say to clients, well, after a call or and that we've come up with a program or something, I'm like, get on it now because we're riding the energy together. The energy is there for that idea that's come through. We have the energy to implement right now. If you leave it, you lose it. Good next step, took a nap and the ideas and words started. Yes, love it. That is, I mean, I do that all the time. I write something, crap, and then leave it, go for a nap, sleep on it overnight, and then come back. And usually throughout the night, my angels have supported me to come up to rearrange it to whatever. Like today, when I got that download in the middle of the night to share the stuff about the witch wound and visibility. Lovely picture of the direction I merged to go in. Love it. Got too complicated with it and I need to keep it simple. So complication can be another way of where visibility and procrastination can show up. So it's just, okay, acknowledging that. Okay, I make it too complicated and then it becomes too big and then I never get to the end. So how can I simplify things? And how can I remind myself to simplify things? What can you do? I do that all the time. Complicate things, complicate my whole business until I realized that, hey, I'm not making any money here. I'm working around the clock. I'm hiring people and everything that's coming in is going back out. So this is still zero. So I need to fire people, cut out all the systems, change everything and simplify so that I can maybe make less overall money, but I'm actually, my profit is going up and I'm making more money, which is what I did. It took me a whole year to do that. Striking while the iron is hot makes my head spin. So like that's just acknowledging what works for you and what doesn't. That was the purpose of the exercise. Putting the thoughts down showed the potential of the whole book. Love it. Need to reword it. Yeah. So in the author program, I encourage you to take 3 ideas and expand on them. And then from those 3 ideas, take 1 idea and expand on that. Go to 800, go to 1,000 words. And that will be your first sort of concept idea for your book. You know, this is where we start. And then we have a look at, okay, where could we take that? And sometimes that 1 idea can work, but sometimes those 3 ideas become a thread and become possible chapters or sections of the book. So even those, like I know when I was writing my chapter, I had 5 different ideas that I just randomly wrote down as they came to me. And then I expanded on them and then I sent them to my editor and she came back and was like, I said, I don't know which one to go in. She said, they all make sense in a story if you rearrange them and put them into different sections. So, you know, it's just to figure out what works for you. So basically in every book, for any of you who haven't written a book, I mean, everybody can even pick up any book right now and like a basic book on anything. We have all of these sections: acknowledgements about the author, introduction, chapters 1 to 10, it could be 1 to 20, whatever. Conclusion, appendices, if you want to add in anything, any templates, anything, references, if you're writing a book and it's about maybe healing and you want to reference where you've seen some studies or whatever, that would be that section. What's the next section is, in my opinion, one of the most important sections in your book, because it's where I will say, okay, you've read this book. So for example, the book mastery book that will be coming out in March, the author and the what's next section will have a freebie in there, and we'll also have my programs. So there'll be, here's the Ignite program, here's the Spiritual Millions book collaboration, here's the Angel Circle, here's the Abundant Heart. So I'll have some pages in there in that what's next section giving people options of what's next. And there'll also be a freebie that I'll mention throughout the book that people can access. So it could be download this template to get your book blueprint done, something like that. That could be the freebie for that book. So what's next, and a link to your freebie. So that's basically every book. Some of them change. Maybe if it's a more scientific book and you reference a lot of journals and scientific, you can, like when I was doing my thesis, we'd have a bibliography section, and that would be a reference to all your books. There's also at the very first page is your copyright section. So it's literally there, your sections. So you can apply this to every book. So literally, when I am starting to write a book, I literally have a template of all of these sections, and it's just, this is the book template, and then I put the title up there, and then I work through each of these sections. I take them in chunks. I really do the introduction probably at the end. When I've completed it, I do the conclusion and the introduction at the end of the book. What I more do is figure out what these chapters are going to be about, what the meat is going to be about, and then I go back and work on the introduction and the references. I have a Google Doc open all the time, so anything that I need to reference, that I'm talking about, book reference or anything, is all going into the reference section as I'm going, so I don't lose it or don't have to look for it later on. And some publishers will ask you when you're writing your book to give them the reference section. So they won't publish what you've referenced unless you have a reference sometimes. So this is one I've showed you before, and this is basically the mind map that I did for the book. It's called Book Mastery now. At the time, it was basically book, write, publish on Kindle. So now it's Book Mastery, and there will be some tagline in there, which I don't know what it is at the moment, but probably write and publish your book. Oh, write and publish your book in 7 steps, maybe. And so this is a little bit of a posh version of the mind map. It's all handwritten. So basically just mind mapped everything that needs to go into this book. So the same as we did the mind map yesterday, you're just taking your one idea now that you've fleshed out last night. Preparation, planning, So this could be chapters, different chapters in the book. And we've already gone through that right through. So this first half is all the writing, and the second half is all the formatting, the tagline. Tagline is a whole science, title and tagline, your website and your biz basics and everything. So that's just a little example of one. So we are going to mind map your book blueprint. We're going to take 5 minutes to do that. So just before we do it, I'm going to give you another example. And I just did this literally before we came on the call. I was thinking about, let's do something simple like a cookbook. So, you can apply this to a healing book, Reiki book, whatever you want, but I just thought a cookbook would be an easy one to sort of demonstrate. So you'll have your acknowledgements, your introduction, chapter 1, cooking utensils, ingredients, stock in the pantry, meals under 10 minutes, meals on a budget. Could be meals under £10, €10, $10, something like that. Meals under 30 minutes, soups and salads, sensational starters, summer main dishes, winter dishes, delightful desserts, meals for a dinner party, conclusion, final thoughts, and about the author and what's next. So I literally did that in 5 minutes. So I want you to do that for yourself. Take 5 minutes. We are going to put on our Pomodoro. Oh, I'm lost. Okay, my darling. Okay, hold on. Belinda, what's up? Where are you? Ask me a question and I will be able to support you. Oh, you're okay. Okay, my darling. Okay. So we are going to take 5 minutes. That's okay. That's good. I'd rather you ask me questions so that at least I know that, I'm here to support you. I'm here to make sure that you get what you need from this. So please ask questions. Never apologize for asking questions. So we're going to take 5 minutes. I want you to get yourself a blank sheet of paper, and I want you to write, if you know the name of your book or the temporary name of your book that you work, just take the idea that you worked on yesterday, the main idea that you took from your book blueprint, that we had yesterday. And I want you to just write your book idea there and create your mind map. And I want you to flesh out your and we're going to take 5 minutes. Ready, steady, go. Now, I'm going to just stop the share for a moment. Oh, okay, let me just pause share, stop share. Let's come in here. Okay, so lovely to see so many of you here, my darlings. So let's just take these 5 minutes. I have my Pomodoro. It is going to hopefully ring in 5 minutes. Okay, dring, dring. I don't know why this isn't dringing. Dring, dring. Okay, my darlings, come back in the room. And I'd love to share. If anyone wants to hop on live for a moment and share. Mine just stopped too and didn't ring. I don't know what happened there. It usually rings. I don't understand that. I'll have to check that out later on when I'm cooking something. So let me know how you are. Any comments, anything you want to say? I didn't sleep last night, so I'd zoned out and didn't see the slide. Okay, my darling, that is fine. You can come back and do it later. Yes, Stephanie, synchronicity there. Okay, my darling. So what was that? How was that for you? I'll tell you what happened for me. I chose to do it an Archangel Oracle book. So what I want to do, I'm not sure I'm going to print these cards again. And so because it's really expensive, and my idea is to go and send it to Hay House and ask them will they print them. Because me personally, I don't want to print Oracle cards again. It's too expensive. There's too much fulfillment involved in it. Whereas when I print on it and I put a book on Amazon, they take care of everything. So my idea is to create a book, an Oracle book from this deck. And while I thought it was probably about a 4 in terms of easy to do book, as I began to write all of the sections, and I thought, oh, I could add in a meditation, I could add in the 44 messages, I could add in 12 flower essences, I could add in checklist. I have the sort of quick list when the Transform with Angels course of all of the angels, so that you can literally, like a cheat sheet, you can literally open it and you see everything on one page. And write my story. I'll need a link, I'll need a freebie, I'll need what's next to join the angel circle. I'll need probably stories throughout, little angel stories that I have over the years, my stories, client stories. And I just thought, oh God, you know what? This is not a 4. This is probably about a 7. So, you know, it's this exercise alone can be useful for you to just see, okay, this might not be the easiest thing to start with. Or if I am going to go ahead and do it, then I know I need to give it a bit more time than I originally thought. So I might need to give that a few months. That might be an actual full book. And for it to be really the problem that I have, and that Wendy mentioned earlier, is complicating it. I do tend to complicate things, so I have to bring myself back. Also, I have to remind myself of what the aim is of this book and the purpose of it, the goal of it, and making sure that I'm not procrastinating by making it bigger than it needs to be. So this is what this exercise brought up for me. So I would love to hear what it brought up for you. Was it easy to do? Did you have the same experience as me? Did you have a different one? Did you have like, oh my God, I could do this. I could do it in a weekend. And as I said, when we're talking about a book, it doesn't have to be the 80-page book. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But it could be just a 30-page ebook. You know, it could be something a lot simpler than that. So anybody want to pop on? Chilla, you want to pop on? Just unmute yourself there, love, and come in and...
Yes, because I already started it yesterday.
Brilliant.
But I reorganized it a bit, so it will be, I don't know, I said 77 tips, but maybe it will be 111, who knows? So initially it was for professional success, but it's too large, so I think I will go for career change.
Okay, brilliant.
And we start with an introduction about defining success for you, responsibility, a bit about power of thought, and then what do you want? This will be the personal strategy. And it will be about 1 page for each topic. I think to have a quote.
A quote.
Yes, a quote.
Okay.
And
then
yes. To write about at the end a short exercise.
Okay.
Or just a question to answer, who knows. So this is the idea. Then it will be about mindset, attitude, positive vibes, action. I don't know if I will have separately a resilience chapter or we'll be together with action. This is a bit question, and something about communication and cooperation. But everything will be directed towards career change.
Yeah, love it. I love the difference.
Yeah, I think this will be probably a kind of low-cost ebook, just
Okay.
to advertise my personal strategy course and the others.
Yeah, love it. Brilliant.
But I don't want to give it for free, so it will be probably $1 or $2, something like that.
Yeah, love it. Love it. You can put it on Amazon, and you
Yes.
can put it on the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like some promotion thing that they do. And sometimes they choose books, and if a client comes along, somebody comes along that's a fit for your book, they will recommend your book at a discount or even free, which is not a bad thing, but they will, because they will be promoting it to a lot of people. So they will do it themselves. They'll take your book and they'll say, today it's $1, today it's €1,
Yes.
or whatever.
I know.
And it will be, so it means that you'll get more eyes on your book and you'll get more sales. So although it's a very small amount, you're more likely to get more sales. So you'll get more money than you probably would have if you were just promoting to your own small audience, your own audience.
Yes, of course. So, or now as we were talking, I was also thinking of another solution, to have the book without the exercise part, let's say for free, and then to have a workbook for a more consistent price.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. You could totally do the two. Or you could have it as a freebie or a low cost,
Yes.
with a very clear what's next CTA, call to actions throughout your book and in your book, to bring people into your programs, whatever your offerings are. After that, your one-to-one sessions, your whatever, So yeah, it could be. I love it. I love this, the clarity around who it's for now, because yesterday it was quite broad.
Yes.
So I love that you've defined who it's for. Love that. Brilliant. Well done. Well done. So we just have a question here about struggling to adapt that to a poetry book. I don't know how to explain it. So for a poetry book, just take out the chapters maybe. And you could have sections maybe in a poetry book. Say you have 50 poems, and some of those poems are around love. Maybe you could have a chapter, a part called love poems. And it could be all of your poems about love. It could be poems about peace. So you could have your peace section there. You could have abundance and prosperity, and you could have your poems about that. Poems about being a young mother, that could be a section. Growing, it could be like a season of life poetry book. So you might have the early years, you might have the early years poetry, you might have healing trauma poetry, you might have finding love poetry, healing grief poetry. So you can totally, instead of maybe the chapters might be a bit, might not be appropriate for a poetry book, but you could certainly theme it. Or you can just have random poems and just have 1 to 50 poems in your book. Like my book isn't chapters. This one isn't chapters. It's because it's 120 something angel messages. So I just literally have the angel messages, the number of the message and the number of the page. I have the welcome, get started, how to use the book, and then all of the messages, which is quite a few pages. And then at the very end, I have about Aishling, my story, what's next, books and bonuses, and notes. So the pages, a few blank pages at the back for people that want to write some notes. So you can adapt it to whatever. I hope that's useful. So got 4 in the making. Wow, beautiful, a series. Okay, love that. So anybody else, give me some feedback about how that exercise was. It helpful? Was it useful?
Hi, Aishling.
Hi, Muriel. How are you?
Hi. When you said that first, and I started off because my type of writing is just a picture and a poem. Well, a channel poem, I found that very hard to put into sections, but you're after covering the maybe do teams instead. But mine is all, whatever is channeled. So I was trying to figure out how can I put it in sections. So I was putting in, maybe if I could empower it like this, like there's a transformation, there's a healing section, there's be your divine self, or the gifts within challenge, reawakening to your power, born to be free. I thought the name of the book might be Celestial Whispers or something like that. Sounded nice. And but my problem with doing all this is it's all connected with flowers. But I'm not mentioning flowers, but it's all color and but to go and put this into a physical book, if there's color, the flowers would have to be in color, and just the cost of it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm putting in a 9. I'm not moving from a 9 because I know I could do it, some parts of it. Yeah, that's where I'm.
Yeah, so that's a choice.
Disability
that's a choice that you have to make. I personally, like if I was doing the 44, I know that there would be a black and white version with very small images, that are not going to take up too much cost in the printing of them. The Kindle doesn't matter because there's no printing costs in that, so the Kindle is fine, and you could totally have it as just a Kindle book where people could just enjoy it and in full color, no problem. But the printed version, that's a choice. You would have to do the black and white version, and which maybe would not suit with your art. So for me, in my case, I'm going to offer the black and white version with very small images, and then the coffee table color version. But it's going to be a lot, and I'm really not expecting a lot of people to buy that. I might buy one myself to have, but it's not, or it might be like a Christmas gift or something, or maybe I could wrap it up with some other programs and packages and make it worth, for €40 for a course and the book. Maybe I could wrap it up with that, something like that. That would make it worth, buy this book and you get a free course or something like that. So that's a choice. But I would say to you that maybe to start the easy version would be just to take the words and put that into your next book, and maybe have the oracle cards as a, which you already have lots of oracle cards. That could be your call to action. Buy the oracle cards that go with this book. And you could also create a workbook. You could have a very small image of your cards in it, and you could say buy the cards separately, and here's the work. And in the cards, when you're selling them, you can have buy the workbook to go with this, so that you can take a card, you can reflect on it, and you can journal. So it could be a workbook journal that you could apply with that. But what I've noticed with your decks, and what you might be missing, Muriel, is the where is it? The guidebook. So that might be something that you consider, because your guidebook is a mini book. It's a place to advertise. It's a place to have a call to action. It's a what's next section. It's all of those, which is the point of a book, unless you're not in business, which I'm mainly this workshop, and my work is with spiritual entrepreneurs and people that want to eventually sell their products and services, that want to share them with the world. So unless you're you don't want to do that, and if you do want to do that, then I would recommend adding a book or a pamphlet. It doesn't have to be a big fancy book, but some sort of a thing that people can read and pick up and see your picture. My picture isn't in this, but it's in there's my picture is there in the book about Aishling, and what's the next steps and how to work with me and the freebie. So I think that might be something that you could consider to go with your next deck if you wanted to. Or, as I said, I might take this, and you can see that the images are quite small at the top. So I might just enlarge this, but the images will still be quite small in the full book. So yeah, it's definitely something to consider. Printing costs are to be considered. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Muriel. Thank you, love. Let me see. If it's an ebook, can you, oh, that's another idea, Muriel, is that you could create your images into black and white. You could create a coloring book. I know that there's an app on my computer, and it's in one of the photo editors, naturally in the computer, that you can literally put an image in and ask to turn it into a black and white drawing, an ink drawing. And it will turn your image into a coloring book, basically, so that you could put together a whole book of your images and people could color them in, and it's only black and white, so the cost of that would be quite low. That could be interesting to think about. And you could have the image to color, to reflect, and you could have the poetry beside it, and you could have the piece to journal afterwards. So that could be something that wouldn't cost too much. The work in writing these books is only do it once, and then you get it up on Amazon and they look after all the printing, everything. You're just looking after the advertising. Then you're just making sure that every time you advertise or talk about your book, that you're adding in your call to action.
I understood that Amazon has a function for low content books that you just upload, and if somebody orders it, they print it. So
Exactly.
they print the printing. So a coloring book would be very good for this. You don't have to print them. Just add it in the right format.
So Amazon prints it for you. So when somebody
Yes,
comes
I
up,
understood
yeah.
this, but I bought a book. I didn't have time to study it because I also want to do this kind of things. It's called Low Content Book, and you can find on Amazon for $1 or $2 how
Yeah.
to do this kind of books. And
Oh, okay, like a how-to book. Okay,
yes.
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah, you can totally find that information on Amazon or anywhere.
And for a
Yeah.
coloring book, it would be excellent, so you don't have to deal with the printing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with Oracle cards is printing, but with any books, any sort of a book is yeah, no, Amazon does all the printing for you. Print on demand. So literally somebody orders and they print it immediately and ship it out and take care of it. It's fantastic service. So yeah, brilliant. Anybody else want to say something? Maria, Doherty, you unmuted yourself and then
hi.
say
Yes.
something. Hi, love.
Hello. Sorry, my camera doesn't work on my
Yeah, that's okay.
reason. Yeah. So I was going. My idea was some sort of a book to do with sensitive children. So whether it's supporting sensitive children and empowering sensitive children, something like that. A book for parents and carers. So I thought, well, to begin with, it would be the introduction about who I am and what my background is in terms of being a children's occupational therapist and other things, flower essence practitioner, other things.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I have a few things, but you know, you could think of lots of things like flower essences for fear and anxiety, you know, flower essences for confidence and self-esteem, flower essence for overwhelm, for grief and loss, for sense. There's a whole load of stuff because I use so many different ranges that there's loads out there. But then I was also thinking, could I also incorporate my occupational therapy skills as well into the book? So it's not just a book about flower essences, you know, so that I'm using other tools also, you know, as well. So that's, so I have to kind of, you know, have to think about that it's more than just one modality, if you like. Yeah. So
yeah, you can totally, that's your choice.
Yeah, I have to have a think about that. So
yeah. You could write 2 separate books.
I could, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or you could combine it if you wanted to. But it's up to you, and it's up to getting clear on who the audience for the book is and what they need.
Yes.
So, you know, if it's for parents with kids, you know, they might not need they might need to know that there's occupational therapy resources available, but they might not need to know that in the book. It depends on what are they coming looking for, you know. So
yeah,
it's really up to you, Maria, what you want.
Yeah. Okay,
brilliant. And thanks, Maria. Thanks for the question. There was a couple of things that came through there. One was book was paper quality on Amazon. As far as I can remember, and it might have changed, but it used to be this way, that you can go and when you're putting up all your stats, all your specifications, that you can write the paper quality. So each modification that you take increases the printing costs and reduces the royalties. So it's really a personal choice. And obviously you upload your book and you get an author copy. You buy an author copy at a reduced rate and you get that sent out and you have a look and it's your proof copy and you have a look and you check the quality and you go back and you adjust the specifications after that. So if you got a crap quality book, then it was probably somebody just chose that quality. But I mean, that book, I don't think it was the best quality, but it's quite good. I mean, you can get yellow paper, you can get white paper, you can get white, or you can get off different, and I think you can get different colors on your cover as well, will add to the printing costs and that. So, but you can go in and modify that at any stage. But this book, the quality is quite good. There's no really, it's a really good quality book and it's 4 years old and I use it all the time. Every other day I pick it up and use it. So it's not even like a book that I would you normally read a book and put it down. This is more like an oracle book that I'm using all the time and it's fairly good quality. I wouldn't say the same for the cards, which is why I wouldn't be in a hurry to print them again. The quality there, the people I used, I never used them again, but that's a different thing. But Amazon, you get to choose and specify, as far as I'm aware. Hopefully that hasn't changed. Is it rude to ask what paper you chose? I can't remember. I can't remember, it was 4 years ago, but I know that it wasn't the most expensive and it wasn't the cheapest. But I can't remember exactly. But I think there's only maybe 3 choices, so it's probably one in the middle. What about use of color photos? That's completely up to you, but it will increase the price of printing and obviously the cost sent to your customer, to your reader. For those living in the EU, you can try printing in the EU. Remember, Eastern European countries is cheaper. So I would only do that if you were printing Oracle cards. And honestly, I'm more of a don't fulfill. You have customer service, headaches, admin, extra admin. You would not believe 100 copies of those cards. You would not believe the admin that it cost and the time and the money that it cost me, for me and my team, to manage those, the customer service behind that. I would never, ever do it again. Whereas a book, Amazon takes care of all of that. Literally all I have to do is sell the book. So it really, I don't regret getting those cards and going through that journey. I have that story to tell now and I have these beautiful cards, but it's very unlikely that I will do another print run unless I'm collecting lists now of people, unless I can get about 500 people on that list that want, but then I'd really have to go with a different fulfillment service as well. So it's all, yeah, I think it worked out at about €50 for a deck of cards, 65 including the fulfillment. It was €17 for the fulfillment. Fulfillment is that somebody else takes care of posting, packaging, customer service and all of that. So it was €17, but we still had customer service on top of, even though I was paying €17 per deck for another company to manage the fulfillment, it wasn't worth it. So books are, in my opinion, the way to go. Oracle cards are an act of love in the world. And I know that, Muriel, it's one of your things, you're doing it, but really, you really want to be making some money out of this now at this stage, really finding some sort of a system, building your email list so that you can build your tribe, people that love your books and can be selling them constantly, but that you're not managing all that fulfillment or managing the printing costs as well. So we're going to jump back into these slides. My darlings, love these conversations. Let me see, glasses back on. We'll jump back in. I think we're near the end. How was that, everybody? I hope that was good. Whole e-commerce side, working out the benefits, massive learning curve. Yeah, it is a massive curve. We want to print soul fractals on back paper. Do you know a good printer? I don't know a good printer. No, that's not my forte, but maybe somebody else might know. Muriel might be someone to talk to. She's done a lot of printing, so you can talk to Muriel after that. And no, she said no. Do you mind the country? Okay, sorry. So Chilla's answering that question. Okay, brilliant. So there was one other thing. Yeah, there was one quick note that I wrote down, and it was from Muriel mentioned that she was calling her book maybe Celestial Whispers. And while I think that's a beautiful title, you really need a really good tagline with that. I thought it'd be useful to highlight that for everybody. A really good tagline that says exactly who this is for. You know, what's the transformation for somebody that buys this book, somebody that buys this book and reads this book. What's the transformation? So you have 10 seconds when somebody picks up a book to see if it's for them. So if you look at this witch one, unleashed, untamed, unapologetic. I mean, that's an amazing, it's like, it really pulls you in if it's the right. So that is the right book for me. As a light worker, I resonate with every single thing in that. I didn't really bring any. Here's my tagline. A reminder to, the angels are with you, a reminder to have faith, believe, and stay in the vibration of love. And the tagline is how to connect and communicate with your angels. So it really says right away what this book is about. So you can get it in 10 seconds. If I was doing that again, by the way, I would change this font. It's too flowery and it's difficult to read. Just all the rest of it is very easy to read. And I would probably pick a nicer color when I do eventually redo that book. So that was the tagline. So I'm going to jump in. How's everybody? Are you okay? We're going to jump back into slides really quickly. And so the question is, we're still recording, yes? Yes, we're still recording. Is it really possible to write your book in 6 short months? I'm going to show you how, or my idea how. Do you remember this slide? How long does it take to speak 1,000 words? 6.5 to 8 minutes. If you talk like me, probably very fast. So I showed you this on day 1, I think, or day 2, I can't remember. But it was to demonstrate that you could use a speech-to-text app and write your book, write 1,000 words every single day. If you had an hour, you would get there quicker. Let's say you had an hour to speak 1,000 words and edit, you know, basic spelling, not editing. We're working on our first crappy draft, so don't worry about that. But if you were to get 1,000 words a day, you could speak them for 10 minutes and you could edit them for another 10-15 minutes, and you would literally have your first terrible draft written 1,000 words a day, speech to text. So I just wanted to keep that in mind, that you could do that. How to write and publish your 80,000 word book in 6 months. The first 3 months is the writing phase. 1,000 words a day, 90 days equals 90,000 words. Take away 10 days for weekends, holidays, and whatever, and you're left with 1,000 words a day for over 80,000 words. So you could literally, oh, that's clear. It's a bit long-winded the way I explain it, but basically I'm saying that you could, the first 6 months are the writing, and the next 6 months is all of the editing, the second draft, the third draft, editing again, the title, the tagline, cover creation, formatting, the marketing, the launch plan, your launch party, competitions, freebies, whatever you want, selling as many copies as you possibly. And I forgot to put in there as well, the pre-order period, which is a really important thing. There's a really good time frame, is about a month of a pre-order period. It means that everybody buys the book on Amazon, but no money is taken from their account until the day that the book is launched. So say I can order the book today, but on the day that it's going live, that it's going to be available for purchase, that everybody buys the book on the same day, something like that. And you have a better chance of increasing your bestseller list, or getting on the top 100 or the top 10 list, if you can get more sales on one day. So that's one of the reasons that you would use the pre-order sort of sequence, if you like. And you can also coordinate this so that you can, you know, ask everybody to buy the book on the same hour, on the same day, or the same morning, and, you know, release it and have a big party and have some prizes and freebies, and, you know, ask them, give reviews and whatever, so that you can really. But your first 3 months is the writing, and your second 3 months is the editing and getting it ready. Definitely don't want to say that your title and your tagline is so important, and the cover creation, but you can hire somebody to do all that for you as well. And then I just wanted to give you an idea of how that would look like. And this is the program. This is basically what I'll be working, bringing people through in Ignite, my program, the Empowered Author, Spiritual Author program. So literally month 1, the idea, the blueprint, and you're writing your first copy draft, 20,000 words. Every week, you can submit whatever words you've written and ask for feedback, you know, encouraging, loving, supportive, clarity and feedback through email. Each week you're getting one-to-one. You're getting group calls, you have your book buddies there supporting you, you have your author hubs, you have your community. So you're helped every single step of the way. But if you look at this as something that you could do either on your own or in a community or with a coach, that would be book month 1, 20,000, month 2, 30, month 3, 30,000. So that would be your 80,000 words, first crappy draft. And then month 4 is your editing, creating drafts 2 and 3, then 5 tagline, cover creation, formatting, and then you're into your launch party, emails, whatever you need. And then finally you will have your book in your hand with your name on it. So that is the whole sequence. And that's what I would be bringing any of you through that decide to jump into Ignite. As I said, there's 11 places, but there's 4 gone, 4 have already been filled. And accountability is the key. I hope that you're seeing this. You know, you can totally write this book on your own. You can totally pay and hire somebody to help you with the pieces that are a bit tricky or that you need more help with. Or you can jump into a program and a community and work with a coach and get that support that you need. And this is the type of accountability that we've included in Ignite. 2 one-to-ones, bi-weekly calls, weekly chapter submission. So you can literally send it in every week if you want to. You don't have to. There's no obligation there. You can send it in once a month, send it in every 2 weeks, whatever you want. Author hours where we literally sit on Zoom and write together. And you also have, we set up a book buddy situation where there's 2 of you supporting each other. And there's also author hubs, which is about maximum of 4 people in a sort of mastermind that you can reach out to when you're struggling, you know, in between calls or whatever. You know, I'm stuck, whatever it is that you need, and you can jump in there. And this is the beautiful Pia, who wrote about her experience. She came along, was one of the last of the 22 to join the Spiritual Book Collaboration, and has written an amazing piece on her basic spiritual awakening. And this is just her words. You know, Aisling's expertise and encouragement made the project a positive and enriching experience, and I'm grateful for her guidance. Love it. And this is Martha, who, you know, really enjoyed being part of this, the book collaboration, helped me to get my words and my message out into the world and create a little part of my legacy. The day I finished my chapter, I actually shed some tears. My soul felt so happy. This is massive. Most of the time, people just handing in their words for someone else to see can be, you know, healing that disability issue that we spoke about today, healing the teacher trauma and classroom trauma that we spoke about yesterday. That initial just handing in your work, your words, and just showing them to somebody else that can, you know, receive them with love and give you loving feedback in return is amazing. And this is Marcia, who, you know, thought about writing a book, but, you know, had put it on the long finger until she decided to jump into the book collab, and has written a beautiful story which reflects very much her business as the entrepreneur's healer and spiritual business alchemist. Her story of, you know, using the divine and your intuition to create an abundant life. It's a really beautiful story. So this was my promise. I want to just check in and see how you are. How do you feel now? At the end of the book camp, you'll have your book idea and a roadmap to achieve it. I know it's going to take discipline. I know that it's not that easy, but okay, so there's no messages in there. So what I want you to think about is right now, today, and I know we've crammed in, it literally is cramming in stuff into, that's my son ringing me, should be okay. Cramming in everything that we've crammed into these last 3 days, and I could go on and talk about this for another 3 days, but I would love you to just give me one action step that you're going to take. Feel inspired with lots of ideas about what to do next. Discipline, but with the roadmap to see how to do it clearly. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. So it's really important to take away one action step, something that you're going to implement after these 3 days. This is what we covered in day 1. Remember, you always have these so you can go back and revisit this material. Day 2, the big idea, and day 3, our roadmap for success. And breathe. Remember, you don't have to know or do everything. Every step of the way, you can choose to DIY it or hire somebody to help you. And you can choose to jump into a community or hire a coach. You know, you can hire anybody that you need. Check in. How confident are you right now that you can write and publish a book? Let me know. Take a nap and process. Might watch the replay. Love it. Brilliant. Well done, Belinda. New blueprint. Great, Wendy. Action step to reflect on what I've learned and make a decision on what writing project takes priority. Yeah, brilliant. Sometimes we can really have a big desire to write a project, to write a book, and then it can be, as I said, oh God, that's not as simple as it looks. And maybe it's not the simplest one to start. Inspired with new ideas. 9, very good. Schedule time for writing and writing. Brilliant. So where are you on that list of 1 to 10? Just do a little check-in for yourself and see where you are. And this is, if any of you would like to join me in the Ignite program, the Empowered Author Coaching Program, write and publish your spiritual and transformational book in 6 months. If you don't want to do it on your own, you'd rather do it in community, you'd rather do it with all the support and all the accountability, then go to this link, have a look, aishlingmooney.com/ignite. Go to the link, have a look through, see if it's resonating, reach out to me, let me know. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, let me know, and we can talk, we can see if it's a fit for you. It's not a fit for everybody because there is some level of commitment in there. So you really have to be, you know, want this, really want this. This is the year. It's an incredible year to get your words, to get your healing message out there in the world, but you have to really, really want it because there is commitment. And just everything that's included. There's so much in there. Go and have a look on the webpage, and you can get started. It's at 247 plus VAT. There are 11 places there, but there's actually 7 now at the moment. 7 places left. And we're opening again on the 12th of February. We kick off our first kickoff call on Wednesday, the 14th of February. And then we'll have bi-weekly calls right throughout the 6 months, which is fantastic. And this is the beautiful Florence and her story of transformation, how she became, she's an author, has been writing and has written lots of different pieces. But this is the first time, I think, that she's got something in print, and you know, this part of this collaboration. And it was just such a pleasure to work with Florence. Florence's work is mainly with movement and around the idea of self-confidence and you know, beauty, and women just, you know, spiritual embodiment and heart-centered priestess mentor. So, and she's a somatic yoga teacher. So I can't wait to have her story in the book and share it with the world. And this is Marie, intuitive guide and healer. And Marie was literally terrified at the thought of just writing a chapter. And the thing is that, you know, for lots of people, just writing this chapter is a stepping stone to finally having the courage to go and write their full book. And that's Marie. Is there anybody else here? I think I have just one more. This is Sharon's story of how it became a journey of self-discovery, and it was illuminating and cathartic. It is a healing process. Support of fellow writers in the group and in the author hubs meant the companionship and accountability, and I never felt alone. And it gave me the freedom to write my first book. So it's life-changing. So it is life-changing to write your book. This is dun, da, 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 and I just spelled believe wrong. I can see that spell check there, it didn't work. Imagine holding your book with your name on it this year. You can do it. Hopefully have a better hair day when you're taking the photo. And that is it. There's the program. What is your biggest takeaway, my sweet darlings? What's your biggest takeaway? With lots of 10s here. Off to bed. I know this is big. This is big. 10, 10, 10. Love it. So inspirational. Brilliant. Okay, I know we've gone a little bit over, so I hope this was useful. And I am going to love and leave you, my darlings. I hope that was useful. Any final thoughts or questions? More clarity on my book. Brilliant. And I would ask a favor of all of you that have attended the last few days. If you could go into the Facebook group and leave a testimonial for me to let me know how you found these 4 days. How are you before? How are you afterwards? And why would you recommend anybody that's considering? You know, we get lots of messages and emails and information coming into our inbox, and people are like, oh my God, another 3-day thing I have to attend. Why would you recommend this for somebody who is thinking about getting their book? Like, would you recommend it? So if you could please put that testimonial there in the Facebook group, or send it to me in a Facebook Messenger or an email. I would really appreciate it. I'll send out an email anyway asking you again, but it's basically, how are you before the boot camp? How are you afterwards? And why would you recommend it to somebody considering giving it their time? And that is it. My darlings, save me from a lot of overthinking. Very helpful. Loved it. Love it. More clarity. Fantastic. Thank you so much, my darlings. Love yous all. Thanks for being here for the last few days, and I hope to see many of you in the Ignite program. Loads of love. Bye bye.